person I'm not, and I couldn't figure out the microphone, so bear with me. If I'm speaking too quietly, say, hey, speak up, because my vocal cords are not great anymore. I taught exercise classes for too long, and vocal cords are gone. So bear with me. I'll try to speak up. If I lose my voice halfway through, I'll mime it. All right, so thank you for having me today. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yay. And today we're going to be talking about herbs, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I pronounce it herbs. Martha Stewart pronounces it herbs, so everybody's right. All right, so there's a lot of herbs out there. In case you didn't know it, there's probably around 200-ish herbs in the world so far. They're still discovering some and testing some and finding out what they are. An herb actually is something that has medicinal, culinary, or aromatic properties. That's what makes a plant an herb. And that really covers a lot of different plants, doesn't it? So we're going to narrow it down today to my favorite culinary herbs. So we're going to limit it to that. But be aware that even culinary herbs can have medicinal properties. That's the one thing you need to keep your mind on, okay? So you just kind of need to know what herbs are and how to use them. And if it's something that might have a medicinal property, just be aware of that, okay? I got not really in trouble, but caught off guard. Gosh, it's probably been about 30 years ago. My husband's mom had passed away, and his dad moved in with us, and he had high blood pressure, and he was on kind of a medication for it, right? I didn't know that. And so he started eating my food. We're vegetarians, so he went vegetarian, and I use a lot of herbs in my cooking for seasoning instead of salt, because my husband's on a low sodium diet. And the first time that Rip went to the doctor said, oh, we're going to have to lower your blood pressure medicine. We didn't think anything about it. We were like, oh, good. He's eating vegetarian. He's starting to go to the gym with us. You know, it's a good thing. And he had, you know how doctors like to do follow-ups. So he went back and did a follow-up maybe about 2 months later. And the doctor said, we're going to have to lower your blood pressure medicine again. And this happened another follow-up time. And at that time, the doctor said, what are you doing? What are you eating? What are you doing? And the doctor actually wanted me to come in with them to talk to me, and that's when we found out the herbs I was using and cooking were actually lowering his blood pressure, and he ended up getting off of it altogether. Now later he got married, and she didn't cook like I did, and he got back on it. But that was really interesting. It was an accidental thing, but you got to be aware of your herbs, okay?
What were the herbs?
They narrowed it down to sage is what was causing it, because I used a lot of sage in a lot of my stuff, and it does have that property. Get with your doctor first. Don't just start eating a bunch of sage. And be aware when you're cooking, most of the oils in herbs are in the stem. So if you stick with the leaf, that's just going to be your flavoring. The stem is what gets you into your medicinal properties, because that's the oil, that's where they get the essential oils from, and that's the concentrated part of it, of the good stuff that's in herbs. All right, so we're going to learn about how to propagate, whether you should do it from seed, cutting, or get it from somebody, buy a plant, divide, something like that, and how to group your herbs according to their needs, according to your other plant's needs, and how to help you around the house with pests and things like that. Oop. Went fast. Hang on. All right. I got to give you this disclaimer because AgriLife and Texas A&M are very scared of herbs. They're so scary. So I have to give you this disclaimer. And like I said, always check with your doctor first before really getting to herbs and the medicinal end of it, okay? And it's all what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with AgriLife or Texas A&M. They're getting out of it. Even though I just went through an advanced training for herbs through them. They're still scared. All right, so what are you going to use your herbs for? That's the first thing you need to decide, okay? You need to decide, are you going to use them for your cooking? Or are you going to get into the medicinal herbs? Or are you going to just use them because they smell good? And you go out in the garden after a hard day at work and go, oh, this smells so good. This makes me feel so good. and you forget all your troubles. And sometimes you'll use them for several different reasons. But usually, like I use them mostly for cooking. I'll just tell you that right now. I do use a couple of them for other things, but I love to cook. And fresh herbs, there's nothing like it. So that's my big thing. And that's why I concentrated, if I can get this to go, on culinary herbs. So herbs really are a big deal, right? No pun intended. If nothing else, if you don't want to get into it for any other reason, they are great for our pollinators, right? There's certain butterflies like our swallowtails and certain other ones, they lay their babies on our herbs and that's what they eat. So if you're not growing them, they don't have anything to eat. So for no other reason, grow them because they're pretty and they're good for our pollinators. They're great on water. Most of them are very drought tolerant. Come on. All right, but how big a deal? They're easy. They're so easy to grow. They require very little maintenance, very little water usually. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about that. They're really something that helps you in your garden if you're gardening for vegetables. This last year was the first year that I can remember where I really didn't have to use much of anything at all for the bugs. I used a little bit of BT at the beginning for my cabbage loopers, but I had basil in between everything. I had some of these other things in between, and I did not have a pest problem. It was controlled by the herbs. I didn't have any aphids this year.
What?
I didn't have any whiteflies. Yeah, they're all at your house. I'll give you some herbs. I didn't have any whiteflies. I didn't have, what are the other ones that I always bug? Oh, mealybugs. I had none of them. I could not believe it. I really couldn't. It was amazing. So yeah, wow. Herbs really are a big deal. This is not acting. Okay, sage advice. Herbs are pretty much like any other plant. They're a plant, okay? They need water and they need a good soil. Some of them don't like good soils. And of course, the proper amount of sunlight, water, all that good stuff. We're gonna see most of them don't like a lot of fertilizing. They don't. A lot of herbs are weeds. Do y'all know what the International Herb of the Year is this year? No guesses? You weren't at do you remember? No, not this year. This year, and it's a weed. Came from low ground. Yarrow. Yarrow is this year's international. So it went from weed to being International Herb of the Year. That's pretty high praise for a weed, right? So a lot of herbs are weeds, so they don't like, helicopter gardening. They don't like you there doing stuff, fertilizing, too much water, too much whatever, too much love. Just ignore them, and just like a weed, they'll grow. That's why I like herbs, they're so easy. So today we're going to concentrate on these culinary herbs. They're my favorites. I do grow all of them. Maybe not all at the same time. And we're going to get into how to grow these herbs, your best ways of propagating and how to grow them and what's going to make them happy. So as you can see, they have different germinating times, and some of them, these are pretty good herbs to propagate from seed. If you have some patience and you have the right amount of moisture and warmth. These, however, 6 weeks to 6 months, I don't have that much patience. So some things like that you're going to want to go ahead and buy or propagate in another manner. All right. I mean, even chives, 2 weeks. That's a long time to keep your soil just the right temperature, and you're heating that under it and the right amount of light, and I just don't have that much time. I don't have that much patience. So these things I'm usually going to do either by buying them or getting a division from somebody or do a cutting. All right. Is that the right one? Yeah. All right. We're going to do basil first because it's the easiest. There are about 150 varieties of basil nowadays. We're going to look at, I think it's 17 of them. These are ones that I've either grown myself or I want to grow, and I did the research, so I said you might as well know about it anyway because I've already done the research. And I think you might be surprised. I'm going to do it by taste. And again, taste is very iffy between people. Something that tastes sweet to me might taste different to you. But this is how it tasted to me. So I kind of grouped it by taste. And you can do the same to begin with, and you'll grow it and go, oh, that doesn't taste anything like what she said. And then you'll have to divide them up into groups according to how you like them. Genovese basil is my favorite. I have it growing year-round. Now, basil likes it warm, so in the wintertime I either keep it indoors or I keep it in my greenhouse, depending on if we have a snowstorm and electricity gets knocked out for a week. Then I'll bring it indoors, but usually it stays in my greenhouse. It's the one that just has that really good kind of spicy taste and has a little bit of mint and clove to it. It's just one of our favorites at our house. We put it in our salads. We do all that kind of in our sandwiches. The dark opal basil is my next favorite. Those are the two I have growing right now, and I almost always have those, and everything else is experimental. Thai sweet basil is your one if you want to cook with it. It's got a little bit thicker leaf, so it holds up better for cooking, but it also has that really nice sweet, spicy flavor. And holy basil is the one, if you've ever had a basil tea, that's probably what you drank, is the holy basil. I've grown it, it's easy to grow. And we're going to get, I know we're supposed to be learning about how to grow, but all basils pretty much are the same. So we're going to go through these real quick, and then we'll see how to grow them. But first you need to know what you're going to grow, right? These are your sweeter, milder basils. And a lot of people get the sweet basil and the Genovese basil mixed up because they really look alike. And I noticed a lot of the places where you buy it, they'll call it a sweet basil because everybody likes that name, but it's really Genovese. They're kind of sneaky about that. The real sweet basil has that little bit of a licorice taste, which I don't like. So if you get that and you have a licorice taste, you got the sweet basil. And some people like that, and that's fine. We don't happen to like it, so I stay away from it. If you have a sweet basil and a Genovese basil growing next to each other, the Genovese is going to get the licorice flavor too. The cross-pollinating is going to happen. And the licorice is the stronger of the two, so it's going to get the sweet basil. Up to you. Greek basil is kind of fun. It has a tiny little leaf. It's really good in salads. If you're really into cooking and tastes, and you want that Greek salad taste, if you're doing a salad with like the green olives and the artichokes and the feta cheese, that Greek basil is great in that. Greek oregano sounds good too. Globe basil is just a smaller leaf. It's really good in your salads and sandwiches also. And this is the other really popular purple basil. It's really pretty. It has a different taste than the dark purple we just saw. It's got more of that clove taste, if you like that. Okay. These are my Christmas basils. They have that holiday taste. A little bit of clove, cinnamon, a little bit. They're good in the really hearty wintertime type dishes. That's the ones you want to use. The African blue has that real peppery taste. So it's really, really good in the hot, spicy dishes. And if you have any questions, just holler as we're going along. The cinnamon basil is interesting too. It's also known as the Mexican basil. And it has that really cinnamon taste. It's good in fruit salads. And the green ruffle, just to say something about that, green ruffle's basil is the only basil that's native to North America. But it likes it really hot. So technically we could grow it here because we've been so hot, but it really likes it in about zone 10 and hotter. I'm going to try it. I haven't tried this yet, but I want to try it. It sounds really interesting. Yeah?
Where can you find the Christmas basil at? Probably
You'd have to order it online. I haven't ever seen it in any of the nurseries or anything. Most of these specialty ones you're going to have to order online. I'm not supposed to recommend, but most of you know where to get your seeds, right? All right, lemon and lime basil, those are your ones you're going to like for your adult beverages and maybe iced tea. Gives that little bit of a citrus flavor, so those are fun in the summertime. Easy to grow. And then if you want that really strong specialty taste in a basil, like again, if you're into cooking and you want that special flavor, these are the three I recommend. I'm going to be trying the Cardinal and the Napolitano. soon because I want to try that. I have done the French basil. It's really good. I like French cuisine, and it gives you that flavor. I don't know if you've traveled in southern France, but they have something that's like a pesto. I don't even know if I can pronounce it. Pesto, French. And it just has that certain flavor that you can't get anywhere else. Did you have a question?
Is cardinal the one that has the purple flowers, so pretty that you can use?
Yes. Yeah. And that's, with all basils, you can eat the flowers. Actually, all the basils you can. You want to catch them when they're early, just coming up, and they're really tender and sweet. But they seed out really quick, so you got to catch them quick. But yes, you can eat any of the flowers, actually. And they all have a really pretty flower, different colors. The Italian, that's the one that gives you that flavor in caprese salad. So again, if you're really picky and you're trying to get a certain flavor and you're just not getting there, it's probably the ingredients. So you want to be growing that type of basil to get the flavor of the caprese salad. Okay? All right, so come back here. Growing basil. All right, really quick to germinate, excellent to grow from seed. I've got some basil. I started it just a very short time ago, and it's already, somebody's going to win one of or two of them. The soil, it likes warmer weather. The soil needs to be at least 50 degrees. My heating pads are 70, and the seed, it just popped up within a couple of days. It was going, it's already, some's that tall, and yeah. It's already big, and it's only been a couple of weeks. It likes full sun. I usually put mine on the west side of the house. I wasn't very good, maybe that's why I didn't have any bugs this last year. I wasn't very good about collecting seeds last year. I was really, really busy, and all the seeds went in the ground, and I had about 1 million basils coming up everywhere. Yes?
Is this presentation available online?
We're recording it.
Oh, awesome.
So yes. Yes, that's why I'm all wired up. All right. It will tolerate a tiny bit of partial shade. So if you do have a spot you're putting in, it gets a little bit of shade, don't panic. It won't have as many flowers, but it'll tolerate a little bit of sun, especially lately when it's been so hot. Again, when it drops below 50 degrees, it's going to go, I don't like this, and it's going to die. So you might want to propagate some more to have indoors in the wintertime if you'd like to have it in your dishes all year. I do. It's great. And also great for the pollinators. There's oftentimes I go out in the evening to try to get a little bit of You're supposed to pick your herbs in the morning, but who remembers to do that for dinner that night, right? So I go out in the evening, excuse me, and I'm competing with the bees to try to get my nip of basil because they're buzzing all over it. They love it. So great for the pollinators. Very pest resistant. All right, this is our holiday edition, our Valentine's edition. So for each one of these herbs, I'm going to give you folklore of what these herbs were good for. Basil placed in your home, but according to folklore, is to prevent infidelity and to increase devotion. So if you want your partner to be devoted to you, keep basil around. Little trivia. All right. It does have mutual relationships with several plants. They're really good for each other. Asparagus attracts bugs that are going to help your asparagus not to get eaten by the bag bugs. It's good for your peppers. It actually helps retain the proper soil moisture level for your peppers, which can get kind of tricky. Peppers don't like a lot of moisture, they like a certain amount. And your basil will help with that. Kind of interesting. The scent masks a lot of your vegetables so the bad pests don't come in and eat them. So what I was going to say a minute ago is, yeah, I had 1 million basils come up. I think that's why I didn't have pests this year. Yeah?
So when you say you have them in the same pot, or you have them in the ground near each other?
Just near each other. Most of my basil, I have it spaced like you'd normally space plants. So if my pepper's here, I'd have my basil here. Basil gets really big, so you got to give it some space. Yeah, most of the basils will get really big, except for the Greek basil. Yeah, I think the rest of them get pretty big. But like I say, I mostly grow the Genovese and the purple. Yeah.
I've grown holy basil and it would not come back the second year. So are there variations within the different types of basils, how self-seeding they are?
I didn't grow it the second year either. I try to collect my seeds if I'm not super, super busy. But yeah, I didn't have anything come up volunteer either. The only thing I really have coming up volunteer is the Genovese.
Do most of the basil self-seed?
Most of them will, yeah. Yep. Anything else? Yep. All right. Plant them, if you're going to do a culinary garden and just have your herbs, basil gets along with just about everybody. It's like friends, pals with everybody. The only thing you'd want to keep away from it is probably your fennel. And fennel you want to keep away from everybody. Fennel gets put in a corner by itself. And we'll talk about that in a second. Did you have a question? Or I'll tell you why in a minute, yeah. All right, let's see if we can get this through this. All right, bay leaf. Anybody here grow bay leaf? Yeah, good. Why do you grow it?
Mine is a tree.
It's a tree. Yes, it is a tree.
Same thing?
Yep, it's a tree. Why do you grow it?
Because I use it in cooking.
Yay, okay. I know usually most people don't use it except once or twice a year in the stock, like at Thanksgiving for your stuffing, right? So you're like, why grow the tree? Well, the taste is unbelievable, right? I mean, would you rather, I didn't get my props out. Would you rather buy this dried out stuff that who knows how old it is? I mean, if you're used to the fresh stuff, I don't think I could even use that. And how much is that nowadays? Probably about $5. So that's why I grew it. I also started growing it because I had a mouse problem in one of my outbuildings. And I don't like poisoning, and nothing was working. And I researched it, and I found out that mice don't like the smell of bay. And I was like, okay. So what I do, that's my little tree. I keep it in a container because I didn't want it to get huge, because they will get huge. But I keep it in a container, and it's very forgiving about pruning too, by the way. I'll wrap up some branches and lay it around the edges of my outbuildings. No more mice. Because I haven't had a mouse problem in years. And we had buildings, our last building was out in Bastrop, and we'd not go out to it for months at a time, right? And we'd come back and we'd have mice and droppings, but once I started doing that, no more mice.
Will it affect like animals or your dogs or anything?
You know, a lot of herbs are toxic to the pets, but I have cats and none of them mess with it. They probably don't like the smell either.
So they just kind of stay away.
They stay away. So I do grow catnip and catnip, and there's another cat grass or something, and I will usually grow that, and it kind of gets them to go to that and leave everything else alone. But yeah, a lot of herbs are toxic to pets, so you have to be aware of that. If you have a cat and you're growing them in the house, you got to be careful with that. Okay? Yeah.
Have you heard that bay leaf, that if you put it in like your beans or black eyed peas, any of that stuff, that it keeps you from expressing yourself?
Yeah, there's several, I mean, that's important. Can save a lot of embarrassment. Yeah, that, and the other one that's really good for that is epizota? Thank you, yeah. And that's really good for putting some in there too. Yeah.
So I was growing a big bay tree, and so I started using that, exploring different herbs for teas. That makes a spicy, sweet tea.
Yeah.
Bay tea. It's wonderful.
It is.
And the tree, you can start snipping off things and putting in little bundles on gifts.
It's pretty, it's pretty. And mice won't get your gifts.
That's true.
Was there, yeah.
What was that alternative that was mentioned today?
Okay, who can pronounce it correctly? Episode, thank you. Yeah, and it's easy to grow too. We're not going to cover it today, but it's easy to grow, and you just put it in, especially like if you're cooking beans or something that gives, a lot of gas. Yeah, it'll get rid of that.
Is this also Turkish bay leaf?
I'm not familiar with Turkish bay. That's why I'm giving the scientific names to make sure you get the right one for what you want it to do and what you want it for. And we'll go over that a little bit. You just find out, do some critical reading. Go to one of your .edu or .org type websites and Google it and read up on it. Yeah.
What did you say about cats coming inside?
Oh, just make sure they're not eating your herbs. A lot of herbs are toxic to pets. Yeah, either have them up where you can't get to it. Haha, if you have cats.
Right.
Dogs will eat it too, so you have to have it out of their reach or in a place where they can't get to it. Yeah, there's a lot of herbs that are toxic to cats. But like I say, I grow all these herbs. I have cats. They don't seem to bother them. All right, and as you can see, most of the ones I'm covering today do grow well in our area, our zone, and we're going to cover that in a second too. All righty, the tidbit about bay. So folklore says if you leave some leaves, anybody want to put this in your wallet? Put it in your wallet and it will attract a faithful partner. Yes, that's your folklore trivia.
I already have pets.
And they're faithful, right? All right, plant it near your beans. There's your beans again for pest deterrents. It will grow really big, so don't put it in your garden bed with some of your other herbs, but maybe you want to have it nearby. It's good. It gets along well with other herbs. It plays well with them. And like I said, spread it around your outbuildings or anywhere you have a problem with mice. It really does work. I just snip off a whole branch and just kind of lay it around the buildings. Yeah.
If my bay has already gotten too big, how do I lose it before I end up doing it?
Is it in the ground?
Dynamite it?
Is it in the ground? It is. You can cut it back pretty severely and it won't hurt it. Or if you're going to try to get rid of it altogether, you can take a snip of it and grow it in a container. Just start you another one in a container. I keep mine in a container. I know, it's, once you get it going, I mean, the big one out at Big Red Barn, I don't know if any of you ever saw it, it's what, got to be like 60 foot tall or something, and then it died during Snowmageddon a couple of years ago, and it's coming back, right?
And it's
Yeah.
impossible to kill.
Yeah, it's just, once you get it going, but you can cut it back severely, and it'll not die. Use it for mice. Yeah.
How do you propagate it?
Best by cutting, because it's one of those really, it's hard to propagate from seed. It just takes forever.
I've never seen a seed.
Forever, yeah. Most places won't sell it because by the time it takes like 6 weeks to 6 months to come up, and by then most of the seeds either going to be rotten because it's just impossible to keep the soil the right temperature for that long. I don't have that much patience. So yeah, either get a cutting from somebody that has one, or they might not mind at the Big Red Barn if you take a little snip, right? Ask permission. And then you just either put some growth hormone on it and stick it right in the soil, or root it in water like you normally would, something like that. Any other questions? Or what I did, that little tree, let me go back. My little tree, I bought it just, whoop. See, that's a big one. If we go back, my little one that I keep in a container, I mean, that was just a little bitty thing. I got it at a nursery probably 12 or 14 years ago, quite a long time ago. But I keep it that height. It's only about that tall in the container, and I just keep whacking it off. Any other questions? Where were we? Okay, chives. Chives is another one that's really difficult to do from seeds. You've got to have a lot of patience. It takes quite a while. What you'd want to do, if you don't want to buy it at a store, is find somebody that's growing it and just take a division of it. In fact, it needs to be divided every once in a while because it just starts spreading and it gets too crowded. So you want to divide it, take it out, and start another thing of it. So find somebody that's growing it, get them to let you divide it, and you can just do it that way. Seeds again take forever. You don't want to really do it that way. I grow both the onion and the garlic. There's two different types. They're funny. That bottom picture, it died off this winter. I just kind of let it put some leaves on it and some stuff and mulch, and that's what's coming up now. So see these new little, that's the old stuff that kind of died back this winter, and then all the new stuff is coming back, and now it's even bigger. It's already gotten huge. The onion chives completely disappeared. Just were gone this winter. And this little guy sprung back up probably about 4 weeks ago. And it just came back. And a lot of herbs will do that. They'll come back from the roots. It's amazing. My red sorrel, which didn't get in that picture, it's right next to it. Again, it completely disappeared this winter, and then I'm walking by and here's this little green thing coming up where it was. I was like, oh, you're back. You're back. Herbs are great. So they like it about 45 degrees. They like it just a little bit warmer. That's why it came up just a few weeks ago and we started warming up a little bit. Of course, we're going to have another freeze now, but it is what it is. They do like the sun. They like plenty of sun, but they'll tolerate a little bit of shade, especially in the afternoon. They like kind of a sandy soil. So if you have sand, Mary, you can grow your chives. They like that. Very little compost, very little, if any, fertilizer. Most of your herbs really don't like fertilizer. Some will tolerate a little bit of compost. Some will like a little compost, but I rarely give any of my herbs any fertilizer at all. They might get some if they're nearby something else that gets fertilizer, they'll get a little bit. Again, they just don't like a lot of attention, don't like the fertilizer, just leave them alone and they do their thing. All right. And I'm giving you the native areas that they're from because birds of a feather, right? The ones that are from the same area kind of like the same thing as far as soils and water and sun. So it's good to group them that way. And I'm going to give you a way to group your herbs in a minute. But keep an awareness of where they're from originally and kind of plant them that way. Chives. Okay, chives are thought to possess spiritual energy. So keep your chives around your home to promote clean thoughts and strong emotions from your partners. Chives. Chives. We got another one that keeps everybody from getting into fights. So you want both. You want strong, good emotions. Clean thoughts. All right, grow them around your tomatoes, your sunflowers, your carrots. They're going to help, again, keep your aphids away, and your cabbage worms, and your carrot flies. Those pests just don't like the smell, and they'll stay away from your goodies, the things you want to eat. It gets along well with dill, parsley, and tarragon. Okay? So it gets along well with other herbs. Any questions? Cilantro, okay. I like cilantro. I didn't used to. It's a developed taste, right? But in your salsas, oh my goodness. You just can't, you gotta use just a little bit. But boy, it just gives you that really good flavor. Propagates fairly easily. I like doing it from seed outside once it starts warming up. It does like it 50 degrees or above, like basil and some of the other ones. So it likes it a little warmer. When it starts getting really hot, though, it will bolt. So you want to have it somewhere to when it gets really hot. Maybe it's going to get a little bit of shade in the late afternoons when it's really, really hot. And that'll make it last a little bit longer. Till your tomatoes are done and you're making your salsa, right? You want to have them all together. And it does really well in our area. Easy to grow. Cilantro is for your peaceful relationship. It keeps you, if you keep coriander seeds, which is the cilantro seed, it will stop arguments and fights in your home. So keep you a little bowl. Folklore. That's what it's said to be good for. Try it, right? What can it hurt? All right, plant it next to your peppers in the summer, and if we have a mild winter, plant it next to your lettuces, and it'll keep the aphids away. You don't want to put it next to your dill. It doesn't get along well with that. It will cross-pollinate, and then you're going to get some really weird flavors going. Okay, so keep them opposite ends of your whatever space you have. If you have a house on a regular property like I do in a suburb, you want to have one on one side of your house, put your other on the other. Okay. Same with my peppers. I keep my sweet peppers on one side of the house and my hot peppers on the other side of the house. Otherwise, they're going to cross-pollinate. You're going to have all sweet peppers, no hot peppers. So you kind of do it that way. Yeah.
Is it true that the hotter the season, the hotter the jalapeno peppers?
You know, I don't really think so because mine weren't. We had a really hot summer and mine weren't super hot. They're regular heat. I think it depends more on the variety of pepper and the seed you get more than anything. I could see how that would, you'd think that, but I don't know how much that holds true. Yeah.
I read that if the pepper is rural pointed, if it's a hot pepper, if it's rural pointed, it's going to be super hot. But if it's a little bit rounded, it's not going to be. It's still going to be hot, but not as hot.
And if you look,
know.
yeah, if you look at your variety of peppers, like serrano peppers are kind of pointy and they're pretty super hot.
From the same species.
From the same species. Yeah, because I've
I don't know.
I don't either without experimenting, because I have had jalapenos that are more pointy, but I don't remember if they were really hotter. That's interesting.
Habaneros are a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I just know one year I grew garlic next to the jalapenos, and the garlic came out really hot.
Hot? Yeah, probably cross-pollinated, yeah.
That was amazing.
If you like that, it's good, right? If you don't, then it's like, ooh. All right. Come on. All right, okay, growing dill. All right. Anybody do pickles? Okay, you should already have your dill going because we want to have it big and nice by the time your cucumbers are ready to make pickles, okay? So I start mine indoors. This year I got behind and didn't do it, so I went ahead and bought a little plant. Really hard to transfer it. It grows a taproot and it doesn't like it touched. It's very picky. Same as rosemary. It doesn't like its feet touched at all. So ones like that, we've had kind of a mild spring so far. I think we're supposed to have another freeze. Things like that, you might want to go ahead and just grow outdoors. Go ahead and put them in. If it's established, like we've had an excellent year, but how do you predict that, right? So if you started it outdoors and it got really well established, that's great because it will tolerate a light freeze. It'll take it down to 25 degrees, but it has to be not really tender, it has to be established a little bit. So it's good to start it early. You might want to start some indoors just in case and go ahead and try the outdoors, and then everything will come together when it's time to make pickles. Get your cucumbers going, they grow really fast. That's the way I like to do it. It likes morning sun, so try to put it in the morning sun. And you don't want to put this one next to, I think this is the one you don't want to put next to your fennel because they will cross-pollinate. And then again, you'll get that funny licorice taste in your dill, which that would not be good. I don't think that would make a very good pickle. What is dill good for, folklore-wise? Y'all are looking more forward to that than the how to grow it, right? All right, this is the one that you want to put in your love potions. So if you have somebody that, they might be a really good mate, what you do is you take a few dill seeds and you stick it in their beverage and then have them drink. And you will enchant them to the point that they'll want to get with you. Folklore says. All right. Just saying. All right. Plant this with your peppers, your tomatoes, your eggplants, your cabbages, other brassicas. They'll deter the tomato hornworm and your aphids again. That's why I had no aphids this year, because I had all these things around my stuff. Keep them away from cilantro. That's the one. It'll cross-pollinate with your cilantro. I think it will with the fennel as well. So you want to keep those two apart. Again, it's nice to have gardens on either side of your house. Kind of keep those in separate corners. And it also does grow well with chives, lemon balm, lemon thyme, and leverage. Okay? It's different. We're not going to talk about it today. It's more one of your medicinal. That's a different lecture. We'll do medicinal another day. All right, fennel. Takes a long time to germinate, so if you have patience. But, if you start it indoors, you can kind of pamper it a little bit, get it going, and then put it outdoors. It germinates. Funny story. Right after I was a student, we had grow teams, and I got on the herb grow team because I've always been interested in herbs forever. Got on the grow team for herbs, and everybody kind of picked the one they wanted to grow, right? And the only thing left by the time I picked was fennel. Not a big fennel fan. It has that licorice taste, these ones that have licorice. But I thought, well, it's a good one for pollinators, and I'll learn how to grow it. So I had my heating mat set up in my grow light where I had to have it, and I got my fennel seeds, and I put it under there, and I waited 10 days, and 12 days, and 2 weeks, and nothing came up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. How am I going to tell the rest of the grow team I don't have any fennel? I was worried. And so I started doing my reading. Oh, I came unhooked. Started doing reading and found out fennel likes to germinate in the dark. Guess what I had shining on them? 15 hours a day, this very bright grow light, and nothing was coming up. So when I learned that, whoops, I think I just turned it off. When I learned that, I turned out the grow light. I started all over again because I figured the seeds had rotted. I wasn't sure what happened. I just wanted to start over. Put them in the dark in my closet, and guess what? Within a few days, up comes all this fennel. I was like, yay, I'm not a failure. That was a weird experience, yeah. So I grew it, and it did really well. All right, so you want to transplant it outside after all freezes have been done, hopefully, and get it going in a place far away from everybody else because it doesn't get along with anybody. So you want to have kind of a corner where you're growing it. The pollinators love it. They'll come in. There's some butterflies. I think it's the swallowtail. Is it the swallowtail that likes fennel? Yeah, and monarchs. Okay. So they like to come in and lay their babies on it, and they'll eat it, and it'll be just little strips. And I don't really care because I don't really cook with it that much. So it's really just for the pollinators.
It comes right back.
And it comes right back, yeah. Yeah, if it doesn't get enough sun, though, it will get leggy. So it has to be a sunny place away from everybody else. And people get, they say, how do you tell the difference between fennel and dill? Because they look a little bit like, fennel to me has a more feathery looking leaf, whereas dill is kind of spiky and a little bit further apart. Yeah. All right, fennel is for eternal love. So you want to plant fennel around your home for a long-lasting love attraction. Good to know, right? All right, folklore-wise. All right, like I said, plant it away from all your vegetables and other herbs. It doesn't get along. Swallowtails, yeah, there's your swallowtails. It is a food for the babies, the caterpillars, so be aware that it will get stripped, but it will come back. And to eat it, you can eat it raw. You can cut up the bulb if you like, but again, you're going to have that licorice taste, so you have to like that. But it's good in certain salads. It's good for you. It's packed with vitamins. Learn to love it. Any questions? Yeah.
Since pollinators love it, would it be okay to plant it in a butterfly garden?
Yeah. It just don't put it next to your vegetables and other herbs.
Not around anything.
Yeah, you're going to eat. Yeah, you'll get a funny taste if you do. But yeah, it would be great in a pollinator, a butterfly garden.
So April, for those that grow the herbs but have pets, how do you?
Like I said, my cats, I have indoor cats, I have outdoor cats, and they don't bother them. I don't think they're attracted to the scent. But if you have something that, just goes up and munches on anything, you have to be careful with that. I know there's some pets that will just go up. Yeah, if they run loose, you'd want some kind of barrier around your garden, I would think. Just in case. Or try your pet around it and see if they're attracted to it or not. If they are, then you'd have to do something, yeah.
Will it grow well with other vegetables?
No. No, it's a loner. Put it in your butterfly garden. Okay, mints. Most people are pretty familiar with mints. Again, really easy to grow. They take quite a while to grow from a seed to germinate, so you probably want to propagate it from a cutting. Super easy from a cutting. Just whack a little bit off, pull off the leaves, and it'll grow either in the soil with a little bit of growth hormone or in water. You can do it either way. That's a picture of my chocolate mint. I was growing that for that new project we have, that Futures Garden. The Futures Garden. I'm growing some, because I figured kids, chocolate, they could have some fun with it, smell it, and smell a plant that smells like chocolate. I don't know. This is one, it's not picky about the soil at all. You can grow it just about anywhere. It's also another good deterrent around your house from spiders, bugs, mice. They just don't like the smell of it. I know one of the big box stores sells these little packets. And that's basically what it is mints, because mice just don't like that smell of mints. And you just kind of lay them around and they don't like it. That's what I tried before I found out about the bay leaves. And they kind of worked, but when I started doing the bay leaf branches, no mice. They are very hardy, and they will come back. They're a perennial. And there are lots and lots of varieties of mints, different mints nowadays. Try them, you like them. Mints are for energy, so keep mints around your home to promote an invigorating love life. Lots of energy. Folklore. All right. Keep it near your brassicas, your tomatoes, your peas. It'll help deter the cabbage moths, your cabbage loopers, your aphids, and your flea beetles. Grows well with oregano, but not parsley. So keep those two apart. Can be invasive. Anybody that's grown it knows it really takes over. So you got to keep it either in a container or a contained area. Okay, it'll just take off on you and take over everything if you're not careful. And again, mice hate the scent of it, so it's good maybe to grow it around your outbuildings. Keep all those pests away. Oregano, another one of my favorites. Really easy to propagate from a cutting. That's what I would recommend. Seeds, 7 to 14 days. Kind of takes a while. From a cutting, it'll take right off. Likes it 50 degrees or above. Another one that can be invasive. It is from the mint family, so you want to be careful of that. Lots and lots of varieties of oregano nowadays. Mine is so old I don't even know what it is. Mine's probably about 10 years old. And I just keep it in a contained area. It gets that big and I just cut it back and keep cutting it back. It's great for making your smudge sticks. Anybody that saw the lecture last month, we do our smudge sticks. Has antimicrobial properties, so if you're not going to use it all for cooking because it grows so fast, you might want to find some other uses. There's cleaning products you can make from it. Nice thing to have around your house. It is very drought tolerant too. If you have a summer like we just had, it's great for that.
Do you protect yours?
Protect it?
Or, like, could you say you grow yours in a pot?
No, it's in one of my raised beds, but it's in a contained area. Okay. And no, it's fine all winter. Yep. Tolerated the summer, tolerated the winter, but it is really well established. I've had it for years and years and years. So if it's tender, maybe I would cover it up if you're just starting it. Yep. Okay. Good for joy, light-hearted fun. In Roman times, they would give it to people who had a sour temper. So it's not something recent, but it's thought to promote joy and happiness in your home. All right, it's a good companion to all vegetables. Like the other one that didn't like any vegetables, this one likes all vegetables. Plant it next to just about everything. It'll help deter the bad bugs, aphids again, and it grows well with basil, chives, parsley. That's the one to put in your culinary garden. They all get along great. They'll make each other happy, and you'll have a happy garden. Going to speed things up a little bit here. All right, parsley, kind of hard to propagate from seed. You probably want to get that as a small plant from somewhere, somebody.
So I need to feel like a failure because I've got parsley started theoretically from seed right now.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm looking at it and going, come on, kids.
It's not doing well. Yeah, it's hard to propagate from seed. You do better getting a little bit more established plant, probably. I've never tried to divide it, but it looks like you could. I'm not sure about dividing it. Mine are huge. I've got a huge, that's my parsley.
It's established.
Yeah, but it's a biannual. It only lives for 2 years, theoretically.
Self-seeds.
It self-seeds. Actually, what I do is after the second year, I cut it all the way back down to the ground. This one I've cut back several times because it's probably 10 years old. And what I do is after it bolts and it gets its seeds, I whack it all the way off to the ground and it just comes back from that. So you already have your established roots. What?
I wanted to try something different.
Okay.
Propagation.
Yeah.
And so I tried parsley seeds.
Yeah.
It's being a challenge.
You might try whacking it off. A lot of herbs, if it's not doing well. You're not being too nice to it though, right? You can't be a hover gardener. Yeah, you might be. Don't be too nice to your herbs. Just whack it off and see what happens. All right. And if you're going to grow the curly parsley that's really, really pretty, makes a nice garnish, just beware that it has a little bit more bitter taste. Your flat Italian parsley is going to be the one good for your Italian dishes. It's got a bitter flavor. But the curly is really pretty, and so I grow both. What is parsley good for? Parsley is good for love and protection from death, according to folklore. That's why I have big parsley, and that's why you're trying to grow parsley, right? I have big parsley. It's a protection. So keep it around, according to folklore. It ensures a long and strong love life.
Is there any particular varietal that thrives in this climate? The Italian?
Variety? Like I said, both of mine are huge. So, yeah, they're both about the same. Yeah, depending on what you want to grow. And I grow mine side by side. So, they're especially beneficial to your asparagus again, so plant it next to your carrots and chives, tomatoes. It's going to help with the pests again. And it attracts your good bugs that are going to help with your bad pests. All right. Grows well with basil, with chives, dill, lavender, lemon balm. So some kind of different herbs that it's pals with. But it works out well watering-wise. They all like that same type of watering. Like it a little bit moist, just don't overwater. That's what a lot of people do. All right, rosemary, another one of my favorites. That's my rosemary. It's huge. I keep cutting it back. Another one, it'll get really, really big. The thing about rosemary is remember that it is flammable. So you want to keep that away from your buildings, all buildings. Yeah, it's just like a pine tree. It has the oil, and if a careless neighbor, who knows, throws a cigarette or who knows what, it'll, like a Christmas tree. So keep that away from your buildings, yeah.
I had two that were behind my garden, and I just kind of left them alone. And they grew so big.
They'll get big.
Oh, they were just wonderful, and I decided to transplant them.
Oh, no.
And I killed them.
No, yeah, they don't like their feet touched at all, so they don't. Yeah, I tried it too, and yeah, they're another one of those. If you get a transplant from a nursery or something, you got to be really careful with the roots. They just don't like their feet touched at all, as you found out. But yeah, if you have them next to your building, just start over. Take a cutting. They do really well from a cutting, and propagate it from that. You can just stick it in a glass of water, and it takes a little while.
I know.
Live and learn, right? You can get everybody, a lot of people grow rosemary. Just go and sneak a snip somewhere.
I helped cut all theirs down.
I hopped in?
Front, hedges.
Aw, then you could have got one. All right. There are several different varieties. There's a creeping variety too that grows along the ground. It can be a little bit invasive as well. It'll really get away from you if you're not watching it. I happen to like the flavor of the upright better. I just think it's better for cooking. Personal taste. All right, what is rosemary good for before we run out of time? It's good for preventing heartbreak, breakup. You want to keep rosemary around to increase the faithfulness and avoid having a broken heart. Aww. Plant it near your brassicas. It's really good for your collards, your beans, your garlic, your carrots. It deters the cabbage moth and the Japanese beetle and the bean beetles. It's really good for that. Grows well with bay leaves, your basils, your lavender, a whole bunch of other herbs, so you can grow it near that. Just be aware it is going to get big, okay, if you don't keep it cut back. But you should be cutting it back. You can use it, besides cooking, you can use it for cleaning products and other things too. So use your herbs. Sage, another good one to always have around. I highly recommend everybody grow sage. It's a great herb. It's a perennial in our area. Mine made it through the hot summer, made it through this last winter just fine. Made it through Snowmageddon a couple of years ago. The thing with sage is you want to replace it about every 5 years because it'll start getting really woody and you're not going to get the good nice leaves out of it anymore. So just be aware you are going to have to take a cutting and start a new one. It propagates really well from a cutting. Takes kind of a long time from seed. If you want to try it from seed, you can. Highly drought tolerant. Don't overwater it. Again, put it down maybe next to your rosemary where it's going to not get a whole lot of water. What is it good for? Sage is for wisdom. If you keep it around, it'll help you choose your soulmate wisely. Choose wisely, okay? Plant it near your brassicas, another one good for keeping those cabbage loopers away and your aphids and the carrot fly. It's good for They don't like the smell of it, so they'll stay away from your good things that you're trying to grow. Grows well with a lot of other herbs. And it's great for mosquitoes. If you do camping and you throw it in your campfire or make, again, a little smudge sticks, it's good for those flying insects and will keep the mosquitoes and stuff away. I'm hurrying up time. All right, very, very difficult to grow from seed. It takes forever. I wouldn't even try it, but you can propagate it from a cutting really easily. Grows really well in this area. It's a hardy perennial. Don't overwater it. Don't over kindness. No. Just hack your herbs back. That's what they like more than anything. They like to be used. This is one of the herbs that does like a little bit richer soil. Most herbs don't, but this one does. So give it a little bit of compost, maybe a little bit of fertilizer once a year. If you're going to fertilize, if you just can't stand it, just cut it in half. Cut the recipe in half. Whatever you normally do, just cut it in half and go that way. Uh-oh, I'm getting the, uh-oh, we got to finish. Time is for your soul. Finding your soulmate. Hang it in your bedroom to attract and keep the love of your life. I find that kind of weird because if you hang it in your bedroom, I don't know who you'd attract. Hopefully it'd be somebody you already knew. Thought that was kind of interesting. All right. Put it again near your brassicas, your cabbage. We're going to go really quickly. Grows well with other parsley. You'll be able to get to this. All right. Just a word about binomial nomenclature rules. That's why I'm giving you the exact name of these herbs. You want to look at that scientific name when you're buying them to know what you're getting. And a lot of people wonder, what does it mean? The first is the genus or the generic name of the plant. And the second is the specific name, okay? And I just gave some examples real quick. Your crispium is your curled. That's why parsley, the parsley crispium has that in it because it's curly. Your officinalis is your medicinal. That's something to watch for. Salvia is for health or good healthiness, okay? So that's kind of an interesting thing to know. Good. Grow zones, I was going to cover really, really quickly. Everybody's confused about grow zones. These are your Texas grow zones. They equate to the USDA hardiness zones like this. I gave you a little chart. You can get that later or take a picture. Here's just a really colorful thing showing the zones. Apparently we have moved from zone 8B to 9A now. As of last year, I looked up our zip code and we are now, where'd it go? We are now 9A.
Yes.
So just be aware of that when you're buying your plants. Well, apparently we've gotten a little bit hotter. Climate change, I guess. I grouped these. So I'm going to go through this really quick. If you want a picture, or go to the PowerPoint later. These are your partially or shaded herbs. They'll at least take a little bit of partial shade. The ones that like a wet soil, if you have something around an air conditioner or something and the soil stays moist all the time, these are the ones that are going to like that. Your dry soil, your Mediterranean, your basil, your bay, your rosemary, your oreganos, they all like a drier soil. Most of these like to dry out completely before you water them. Okay, just let them dry out. I know it's hard, but let them dry out and then water them thoroughly. Most of us around here have an acidic soil, and a lot of herbs do well in either acidic or slightly acidic soil. A lot of your herbs don't care. They don't care if it's acidic or if it's neutral or alkaline. They don't care. So I put those in there. These are the ones that like an alkaline. Does anybody have an alkaline soil?
Very, very alkaline.
Really? Okay, well these are the ones that are going to either like it or they don't care. They just don't care what kind of soil they're in. And there's my references if anybody wants to look up stuff. And pictures. Happy Valentine's Day. That's it. The end. Only 2 minutes over.